Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. This watch is large, but it is also subdued. You're looking at a 2024 launch from Omega, the Seamaster Planet Ocean Chronograph Boutique Edition. It features a combination of bronze silicon nitride ceramic as well as media blasted beige, a watch that is entirely media blasted and brushed. There is zero bright work here, so if you hate both the term and the aesthetic of bling, this watch may be for you. It is, however, quite large. In terms of size, I gave you dimensions. You're going to see it on my wrist, but in terms of mass, 172.27 grams. For a strap watch, that is quite heavy. Massive would be the word. Taking a look, you can see it's huge too. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference, the lugs at 52 millimeters, the lug-to-lug may not be beyond the edge of my wrist, but I do think this is too large for me. 19.1 millimeters thick, it's not going to fit under a cuff, though it does have a nicely proportional 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Again, too big for me by a margin. I would say a 17 centimeter circumference wrist and larger could probably accommodate this quite well. We have a beige strap, and although it's entirely rubber, it has some symbolic stitching in it as well as a cross-hatched pattern molded in. We have a likewise subdued satin brushed steel folding clasp. Press both triggers, pops open. Inside, single swing arm, and a crimping system with a pin and two lobes. So the strap goes through this, gets buckled down, and then you close, and there's no minder loops available externally because we need none. Every bit of additional length of strap folds under the clasp and the strap. Clean, out of sight. Simple. There's a reason why this buckle has endured since the early 2000s on Omega watches. It works well. Lyre-style lugs with the inward and outward bevel, but they're both brushed here, satin finished. You can also see that the crown face and the pusher faces are media blasted for a nice matte anti-glare look. The edge of the bezel features knurling and it's all brushed. And then we have this bronze silicon nitride with liquid metal inserts, and so we have inserts that are a combination of metal and ceramic, and then we have the primary bezel itself, which is incredibly scratch resistant. $120 click. Lined up with the broad arrow style minute hand. Now you have a 0 to 60 minute timer. And as you can see, those bezel inserts are fully luminescent. And so you can read all 60 minutes against that green minute hand. Now note that the bezel pearl and the minute hand are green and everything else is blue. So you can always judge them relative to each other at a glance. And unlike a lot of dive bezels, which just give you the bezel pearl, here every single minute is calibrated with a large luminescent swath for the first 15 minutes of the dive. Also note how all the hands of the dial are luminescent, including sub-registers. And we've got a fully luminescent chronograph seconds hand, so you can easily read your dive timer while you are in the dark. You know that it is running. Furthermore, because of the ability to read the constant running seconds and the chronograph seconds hand. It's a mistake some dive watches make. They don't actually have a luminescent seconds hand of any kind that you can read in the dark. Beige, it's a type of media blasted lacquer dial, and then the discs for the hour counters, they're an azurage or concentric, and they are themselves bronze silicon nitride discs. And so they are bronze silicon nitride ceramic discs inserted into the dial. Note the hands as well as the indices are subdued and brushed. Everything is anti-glare, including the logo. We have a set of vintage-inspired broad arrow hour and minute hands, a couple of different setting modes. Also note that this is a twin register chronograph design, but it's a triple register with superimposed chronograph minutes and hours over at 3 o'clock. We'll screw the crown out. The watch is 600 meters water resistant, but as an ISO 6425 certified diver, it would have been tested to 125% of that number before leaving the factory. So this individual watch has actually been tested to 750 meters. We have a time zone function that allows me to jump the hour forward and backwards depending on which direction I'm traveling across the international date line. Doesn't affect the operation of the chronograph, does not hack the watch or stop the movement. But if I pull the crown out to the next stop, it will do that. We could set everything in sync at that point. Reset. Vertical clutch, so there's no extraneous motion when you start the chronograph. The seconds hand has seamless operation with no jump or stagger. Lateral clutches aren't as precise, but this is vertical. Vertical also allowing continuous operation of the chronograph without additional wear and tear. A column wheel, which you can see through a skeletonization in the bridge on the reverse of the watch, makes for crisp actuation. And whereas a lot of these modern tri-level Omega coaxials operate at 25,200 vibrations per hour, the chronograph variants operate at 28,800 vibrations per hour. As a result, you get a conventional 8 beat per second chronograph fractional second scale, which makes a lot of sense. Also important, the watch features a helium escape valve on a media blasted crown. Screw this out when you ascend from your saturation dive, your one big decompression from your hours, days, or even weeks long dive. Helium escapes from the inside of the watch just as it builds up. Ingress requires egress, and so once you've opened this valve, once internal pressure exceeds external by 2 to 3 bar, the helium will exit through this valve, and that will avoid blowing out your seals or your crystals. See, we've got the little silicon nitride on the barrels of the pushers. By the way, there are no screw downs here. There are shoulders to prevent shearing, but you don't actually need to screw these in or out. You can always operate them without having to play with the crown, and the watch is still 600 meters. Taking a look at the case back, the hippocampus or seahorse, a traditional symbol of the Seamaster since the late 40s and the first Seamaster. Here you can see it metallized on the case back. Caliber 9900, bidirectional automatic winding, twin barrels in series, 60-hour power reserve, 54 joules, column wheel, vertical clutch, coaxial, master chronometer. It's got a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance for shock resistance. And the master chronometer test involves the fully assembled watch tested in 6 positions to run no worse than -0 + 5 seconds per 24 hours. It also includes power reserve, winding efficiency, water resistance, durability, and magnetism tests, including tests to over 15,000 Gauss. That's not a maximum, that's a minimum. This is a virtually amagnetic watch thanks to the silicon hairspring, but also anti-magnetic balance, balance staff, and escapement. Tri-level coaxial, the latest version, allowing one level of the coaxial escape wheel to be a pure drivetrain interface, with the other 2 levels impulsing the balance directly and indirectly, and its calling card is tangential friction rather than the sliding friction of a conventional Swiss lever. And so that is why the coax is considered to be an upgrade over Swiss lever. Tangential versus sliding friction. Remember, tangential is less, sliding is more. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.